I highly suggest that you first self-manage, okay? Highly suggest that you do that. Why? A couple of reasons. One, you save 8 to 12% of the cash that's coming your way. Welcome to Uncommon State of Mind, where we debate different ways to leverage your next investment to create time freedom, legacy impact, and generational wealth. My name is Joey, aka Mr. J Mays.
And I'm AD, also known as AD the Fly Realtor.
Awesome. So right now, we're debating management styles, right? Like, I forget what we're.
Well, specifically, we want it to be geared towards your first investment, your first real estate investment. So should your first real estate investment be self-managed, or should you be hiring professional property management?
There we go.
Which one is the better route for you to go?
There we go. And I'm glad that I just had you take that over. So I'm gonna let AD kind of start this, because I know more in the terms of self-management than I know of hiring a property manager. So I'll let AD take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so first off, I'm going to start off the benefits of hiring professional property management. The number one reason for me is, well, let me even ask you, what's your number one reason for investing?
Time freedom.
Perfect. Time freedom. Like, if you're looking for time freedom, ideally, what do you want? You don't want to pick up pretty much what would be another job. You know what I mean? So hiring out property management, that gives you more of your time back while still getting to reap the benefits of having this property or this investment. So I get it, like, it's going to eat into some of your profit or what could have been your profit. But the thing is, for the long-term benefits, I believe it's worth it just for that alone.
You said it's going to eat into what?
It's going to eat into extra money that you could have had. But for long-term benefit, it's better to just hire that professional property management.
Just off of that, I think I already won, y'all.
Man, if it was just about squeezing out every little penny you can, then maybe he's right. But because it's about much more than squeezing and sucking every bit of life you can from an investment, that's why I think you should also be getting a professional property management.
Okay.
My second reason is professional expertise. Hold
on. What was your first reason?
My first reason is time.
Okay.
Saving of your time.
Got it.
Professional expertise. Property management companies have expertise in managing properties and handling tenant issues. So when you are self-managing or managing property in general, it's one thing to be concerned about the property itself, but then it's a whole nother thing managing the tenants, because the tenants are people themselves. They have their own ideologies and their own thoughts about life and how things should go. So you're going to have to deal with that. And those aren't always things you can pick up during the move-in process. You don't always know how someone's going to act once they move into that property. That's my second reason. And then beyond that, reason number 3 will be improved maintenance and repairs. So property managers tend to have a network of trusted vendors and handymen or maintenance men that can work on all types of things that may be broken or need to be worked on. They know plumbers in the area who can get to your property quickly and, help take care of anything already. Whereas if you're self-managing, you would have to go look for those services or those vendors or whoever it may be. So to me, it's like, is that something else you want to add on to what you already have to do in your day-to-day life?
Before AD continues to move on this subject, I did want to, which we forgot to do in the beginning, but say you're the investor, right? And you're the investor and you are looking to get this fourplex, okay? You have a fourplex available to you. And you are trying to decide whether you want to self-manage or you want to hire a professional management company right off the back, right? And this is kind of what kind of bases the arguments that we have. And AD, his first topic was saving time, professional expertise, and managing maintenance and repairs. So I'm going to go ahead and let him continue his point.
Yeah. So that was my last point there. Maintenance and repairs, just professional property managers. They're already going to have people on tap that can do it for a price reasonable enough compared to what the job is or compared to the market. Whereas if it's you or you're trying to go out there and find people yourself, they might be giving you a higher price because you don't even have a relationship with them. You don't know them at all. You know what I mean? And they don't know if they're ever going to get business from you again, which is why using a professional who does have those contacts might be able to save you costs in the long run. Those are my 3 main reasons as of right now for why hiring professional property management would be better for you than self-managing for your investment.
So, couple of things. How much is a typical property management company going to charge you?
Typically 8 to 12%, usually 10% of the rents.
8 to 12%, usually 10% of the rents. Okay. So that's the main thing. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just go down the line with this. First of all, you're losing 8 to 12%.
It's not a loss, though. It's not a loss.
If we're talking
your investment run at a smoother operational pace.
I like how you try to go ahead and try to, you try to like really just.
It's just what it is.
Sugarcoat the punch. You're losing 8 to 10% of profit out of your business by hiring a property management company from the jump. Okay, one. That's that. One thing that you brought up was saving time, and I think that's probably the hardest thing that I could argue is yes, if you decide to self-manage, you are going to save a lot of time, 100%. Because if you do, or sorry, not self-manage. If you decided to go with a property manager, you are going to save a lot of time, okay, in the things that you do initially. Now, I'm talking about this in terms of being your first investment. You have this fourplex. You're like, okay, should I self-manage or hire this property management company? I highly, highly suggest that you first self-manage, okay? Highly, highly suggest that you do that. Why? A couple of reasons. One, you save 8 to 12% of the cash that's coming your way. You know what I'm saying? You will have to put in time, but with that time comes knowledge. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to spend time in your business, you got to make sure that you're learning something. You're learning a lot of different aspects in the business in order to run that business efficiently. Anyway, so I have a couple of points that I did want to bring up in regards to this. Because, since you had your little list, the first one was cost savings, right? You're going to save that 8 to 12% in your overall budget. You'll get to retain that. You can keep that. You can, let that build so you can acquire more earnings in the future, right? Second thing I do want to talk about is better control. You have better control of your property. You decide how you want things done. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's how you want the leasing agreement to be structured, how you want to handle dealing with guests, you get to set the precedence of that in which you can later on pass it down. I highly suggest getting in the nuts and bolts of your business first before you hand it off to a property management, because then you created a bottleneck service, a bottleneck in your business for yourself. You know what I'm saying? If I go into my business and I already know how it operates, and I already know how much things cost, you know what I'm saying? If you ever have an issue with that property management group and they've taken note and they started your investment property and they know all the nooks and crannies of the business, and the second that they said, I want more money, or we're leaving, you're kind of stuck. You're kind of at the demand of this property management company.
Demand That's a big one. Like, I don't know how often you ever hear there being a specific contract and then the management company just comes and is like, oh, like, we want more money. That's one. And two, you can find another one.
Okay.
You can find another one.
But if you don't know exactly how your business operates, how do you know that every job within that business is even being taken care of? Because that property management, they take care of a lot of things, as he says. A few of the things that they take care of, AD, and you know more than I do, they take care of managing your guests, or sorry, not guests, managing your tenants. They take care of, I'm guessing they have their own, is it leasing agreement, or do you provide a leasing agreement?
It could be either or. You can have a leasing agreement that you choose, or you can ask them if they have one, like a standard one already.
So
It'll probably be better for you to know what's in your leasing agreement.
Right. So they can control the leasing agreement if they wanted to. They have access to all of these vendors, you know what I'm saying? And it's so easy to just be like, you know what, I want to take the lazy side and just let them handle all that. They have access to these vendors, and with those vendors that they have access to, they also have access to the deals. You know what I'm saying? They're probably not getting charged a premium price for those vendors in the long run. So then you're gonna have to when you switch to property management companies, you never know. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is you definitely want to take control of all the actions and know every responsibility within that business. On top of saving the money, before you even do that, and for your first investment, I think it's important to self-manage. So that's two.
Wait. But in rebut to that, I mean, I hear you, but you can still achieve that same thing hiring professional management. You can hire management and be in the know of what's going on and how that property is ran. And plus, like,
but are
you're making it seem as if like you hire a property manager and they just go in there and do what they feel like. No, like they are working for you. So they really like take your lead. So that's something you would decide when you're looking. Like you can come to them with your list of questions. Like, this is what I'm looking for. This is how I'd like my property to be run. And things that aren't even clarified at that time, it's not as if like, oh, they just get to make the decision on how it's going to be. Like that would depend more on what kind of clearance you give them. You know what I mean? Like maybe if in time you see that they're exceptional, you know what I mean? And you want to give them more responsibility or just allow them to do more things without ever having to call you, that would be even more beneficial. But you really don't just have, at least not a good property manager isn't just going to be like doing their own thing with your property.
Okay. And that's a good point. But at the same time, with all that, are we still saving that 8 to 12%?
It can't all be about the money
I'm not
all the time.
I get it. I get
I'm a capitalist, trust me. But if we're going to pitch for every single penny, like sometimes it's going to be to our detriment.
Well, let me go ahead and finish my points.
Finish your point, please.
So that's another thing. I think the main thing is getting that increased knowledge of your business. You know, definitely immerse yourself in your business, understand while saving the cash, because you can have you can self-manage, you can put these systems in place, you can develop your own SOPs, standard operating procedures, and hand it to the property management company and understand like I've had it done a specific way before. You know what I'm saying? If you think we can improve in some ways, go ahead and run it by me. But these are my standard operating procedures, but you can never develop them unless you're in the nuts and bolts of your business yourself. When you go with a property management company, not only are you giving up that 8 to 12%, but you're also leaning on you're leaning on their standard operating procedures. They're gonna it's gonna be cookie cutter for them. They're like, okay, this is a property, 2 to 4 units. This is the cookie cutter standard operating procedures that we have. You're gonna be agreeable. This is your first investment. This is your first property. You're just gonna be super agreeable. Like, yeah, do that. That's cool.
But the thing is, even if you are agreeable, the cool thing is that if you see in time that you don't necessarily like a certain feature, you can still have that change. Like, you know what? I thought I would want it to be ran more in one way, whereas now I'm choosing a different way. You know, like you don't have to stick to any one thing if you see down the line that it's maybe not beneficial to you or your goals. You know, it can still be changed, you know, whether you hire or self-manage. It's not an all for nothing, like however it is, as soon as I hire you, that's what it is for all time. Like, no, it's not going to be stuck to just one way.
Mm-hmm. You know, hey, once again, I feel that it's best, especially when you're starting off, to self-manage, to understand the nuts and bolts, and then as you plus with that cash that you're saving, maybe as you're saving it, when you're ready to go ahead, or you could probably save up as you self-manage and then hire a property management company down the line. So that way you can create your own SOPs is my main point. So that way you definitely have the ultimate control of how your property is being ran. Of course, you'll be open to suggestions from the property management company and however they have their cookie cutter procedures, but yours, works for your business. You know when it's not being done right, and you know what needs to improve if that isn't being done right. So for the sake of that, and to save that initial cash initially is my main point, guys.
All right. All I'm going to say is if you're looking to scale, it's best to have somebody take care of that investment for you so you can go engage in income producing activity and then potentially go buy another property. But if you do choose to self-manage, one thing I am going to say is that if you're going to self-manage, remember, like, take out 10% a month and put it to the side just so you can be used to paying a property manager. Because eventually down the line, you're not going to be, if you buy a fourplex, then in another year you buy another fourplex. Next year after that, you buy another fourplex. You're at 12 units already. 12 units is a lot different from 4 units. So just get used to paying property management so that in time, once you start to do it, it's not a big hit to what you're used to making each month.
That's A1 right there. That's A1 for sure. You definitely want to start developing from the beginning of putting pockets of money aside in general, whether it be for capital expenditures, as you said, paying a property management company, knowing that that's what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, we're speaking upon your first investment. Once you scale and have multiple, it's very important to implement a property management company in order to get your time back. And that way you're not handling, maintenance calls, or you're not handling any guest issues and things of that nature. And some of the things that AD mentioned, he touched on it, but I didn't really get into it. He touched on like handling tenants. And I'm not going to lie, that's probably the part, if I was self-managing, where I would be pissed. I would be. I may get irritated doing that. You know what I'm saying? I still think it's a good idea to at least understand that realm before you move up. But either way, just kind of understand both sides of this argument, guys, to see which direction would be best for you, right? Hey guys, and as you know, we always hit that B for today, and AD's gonna go ahead and bring us that B.
Yeah, the B for today is be realistic. And when I say be realistic, what I'm saying is be aware of what your goals are and what you value the most. So if you're looking for that additional time freedom, spend time with your family, your loved ones, or just enjoy life more, then perhaps hiring property management is best for you. But if you're looking to capitalize on income and gains as much as possible, maybe for that first investment, you do want to self-manage to, capture that 8 to 12%, as Joey had mentioned. So be realistic.
Yeah. So be realistic, be you, and be uncommon. Catch y'all on the flip.